As DM, I try to make sure the party is having fun in my games above all else. This means a lot of insanity and laughter. Was a homebrew campaign before I totally understood D&D and pardon any rule gaps. The party rundown, they like to multiclass. Balthus Giggleberry, half orc bard fighter, alternately femininely skipping and singing or viciously smashing things with a hammer. Self absorbed and great RPer. Lupus, human, thief fighter. Selfish and greedy, but it does in good fun and never totally betrays the team. Hates Echo. Echo, half elf, druid monk, only particularly moral member, youngest player, often neglected or abused. Ulrith, drow, mage monk, quite neutral, only in the sense that he'd basically help anybody in the party with anything they tried. Throughout the game, Balthus has picked up a I drink it stance on things he encounters. He finds a box of potions. I drink it. Acid burns off his lips. He finds a magical bottle of white liquid. I drink it. Think Spider Man webs attaching the bottle to his face. Eventually, the gang raids an old castle infested with monsters. They enter a room with a ghost guarding it, which turns out to be the room for blacksmithing. There is a dingy pool of water there for cooling the weapons, which I meant to make enchant whatever item they put in there. I drink it. I blink a few times. Then I ask for his character sheet. I bump up his physical stats up a point or two each and give him glowing eyes, now being authentically magical. Balthus. See? The key to adventuring is to eat everything. Lupus. Hell, can we go back and eat those werewolves we just killed? Echo finds a magical horn that lets him summon a ghost ship manned by undead who can't go far from shore. Lupus, at the time Echo discovers this, has been out with a magical sword he discovered while robbing a royal treasury. After several towns, he finds a wizard powerful enough to identify it as a wishing sword. He clearly and carefully warns Lupus not to waste it and be careful with what he says while he carries it. Immediately, Lupus screams out, I wish I could never die. I agree to this, since I'm admittedly lenient and I plan to permanently cripple him or something later. People say I should have turned him into an unbreakable statue or something, but I'm not into big on ironic twist wishes. Echo reunited with the gang, introducing his new ghost crew. Lupus enviously tries to swipe it, but Echo dodges. Lupus's player looks me square in the eye and goes, quote, I wish Marcus was dead. Echo's player. In a loud and clear voice. He drops dead instantly, taking nearly a week and a lot of money for a cleric to revive him. Lupus's pure hate just amused me so. The group is charged by a baron to infiltrate and stop a slave ring across seas. He lends them his finest vessel for this cause. Still jealous of Echo's zombie ship, Lupus firmly goes to the baron's ship and determined to outrace him. Lupus. So, what is this boat called, anyways? Ship's captain. It's the Sea Saint. Lupus. What? That's dumb. We need a cool name, something badass. We need to say we F up undead. Me. That's necrophilia, Dave. Lupus. I grab some paint and try to write necrophilia on the side of the boat. The group winds up racing their ships, with Echoes holding Balthus himself and Balthus' slightly kidnapped assistant 8-year-old Zack leading due to a tireless band of zombie rowers. Lupus starts throwing daggers at the zombies, picking them off. Echo defends himself by firing lit arrows onto their boat. Urith, on Lupus's boat, casts Flaming Sphere and begins to steer it in and out of the zombie ship's hull. Balthus. Say, that scroll of enlargement I found before? Me. Yeah? Balthus. Does that work on objects too? Me. Yeah, I guess so. Balthus. Perfect. I cast it on the cannon. Balthus fires an elephant-sized cannonball into the sea saint. Lupus desperately trying to deflect it with a thunderbolt from a magical spear of his and blasting the undead ship's mast down before the ship's has its front torn off. They're left wide open for pirate ambush. Magic users who invisibilitied their ships, who attacked the ships as they were trying to rescue what they could from the Sea Saint. Lupus finally gets on board, attacking pirates left and right, but constantly missing or almost falling off the deck from poor rolls. Lupus. Damn it, I wish I was dead. Me. Grinning like an ass. Lupus. What? Me. Remember that sword you had? Lupus. But I wished I could never die. Me. Well, but this wish can. It didn't. Okay? Death pulls your soul out and talks it over with you. We finally ruled that he lost his immortality in exchange for living in the end, but he didn't seem to mind. The group searches a dungeon, finding a chamber where a huge skeleton with an axe for a hand lies. Urith. Okay, that thing is obviously going to spring to life on us. Lupus, go check for traps. Lupus does so, actually finding a hidden panel with a small chest in it. He grabs it and runs for his life, expecting the skeleton to come to life. Balthus, quick, he's getting away with the loot! Grabs and hurls the NPC priest Hobbs, the halfling, hurling him like a dodgeball. Lupus actually rolled so well on a dodge, I had him deflect Hobbs easily, swatting him back like a tennis ball with his bare hand and smacking Balthus in the face with his own projectile teammate. My favorite example of Balthus's RPing. The group winds up at the kingdom where the slave rings they're busting is centered. The group goes about it different approaches. Urus leaves them to handle it, going to the Wizards Guild and doing some group shopping. Lupus bribes up the Thieves Guild for info. Marcus uses his wild shape to become a crow and infiltrate the castle via the windows for info. Balthus walks up to the front door and demands to speak with the king. The guards refuse, so he promptly beats them up and takes their clothing. They're a tight fit, but they'll pass. He bluffs past several guards before he reaches the final pair of guards before he's in. He hides behind a pillar and tells me this, quote, I take off my disguise only to realize I wore nothing underneath it but my warhammer. I pause, shrug, then walk on anyways. Balthus approached the dumbfounded guards. Balthus Giggleberry demands to see the king, He announces dramatically, thrusting at or posing with every word. Me. I don't care how good your charisma is. You're a naked, armed half orc in royal property. They attack you. The guard gets a lucky roll, and I wind up ruling that his axe takes off his junk. Balthus. Balthus Giggleberry is never a man to retreat, but the situation demands it. I grab Balthus Jr. and leap out the nearest glass thing, preferably a window. Balthus books it to the nearest temple. I thrust my bloody junk into his face and scream, "Help me!" Me. One nun faints while another priest vomits. Priest. Calm down, friend. We can help this. Balthus. Can you make it bigger? Priest. No. Priest 2. Balthus. It's not funny. Priest 2. No, that's not it. Regenerate is a touch-based spell. Basically stole it from Classica OTS. I know. Tremendous pause by all. Priest. Let's get this over with. Balthus. So, do I cough or something? Priest. Shut up. Balthus. Priest. Stop that! The entire party winds up being arrested, or their items looted to force them to come to court. All over petty reasons brought on by themselves, I swear. All except Balthus. The others all show up to prove their innocence, while Balthus comes to the court and demands to see the trial. The clerk doesn't know which he's talking about, so she lists off a few offhandedly. Balthus pauses at a mention of Cutthroat Bill, charged with 20 counts of murder and rape each, but passes. When they're about to be found guilty, they make a daring escape from town, pursued by guards. Balthus insists he has a plan and stays behind. He lets himself be arrested, taking credit for everything: the thieving, the killing, and the stuff he'd have to be in two places at once to do. Once in jail, he asks the inmate if he knows where Cutthroat Bill is. I'm stunned, and say he's being held in a private secure cell elsewhere in the jail. Balthus breaking out, using a magic toy horse and riding it to free Bill in the next room. I spontaneously make up off the top of my head a 9-foot ogre with a battle axe picking at a deer carcass. Balthus is set on making him the party's new muscle, and his outstanding charisma plus Bill's atrocious intellect hires him on the spot, despite my emphasis of his evil as they escape. He knocks people out on his way as he runs, even stops and turns back a few times just to knock people out over anyways. Things is, the group grew to love the cannibal, rapist, imbecile murderer, and their chaos was a sort of outlet for him that made him a lot less dangerous. Pilcar syndrome, I guess. I often pointed out to the party their habit of going through its share of NPCs, mostly the clerics. They started with a halfling Hobbs, but he wound up leaving after the arresting incident because of his moral standings with his goddess. They later picked up Andy, short for Ananias, an elf dedicated to a god of true pacifism, apathy, and neutrality. He stayed for a while before their severe infighting and strokes of cruelty blew his nerves and he walked out. When they last played the campaign, they had picked up Lecrez, a drow priestess of disease, mischief, and chaos. I pointed out that this was the closest they were going to get to one that would work with them. Well, that's about it for this story. I severely enjoyed this one. My God. I mean, Balthus, Giggleberry, and the junk incident. That had me rolling. I swear to you, I had tears. And I plan on doing a lot more of these sorts of videos. If you're interested, then just leave a comment down below. Please let me know. You can find me on Minds, Twitter, Gab. I also post up on YouTube and BitChute. So I'm kind of hitting all the spectrums the best that I can. Hoping to get as many big of an audience as I can. If you'd like to support this content, then go ahead, leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment. It would really help me out. Until next time, take care of yourself, God bless, and farewell.